go. Good morning, world. Today's Sunday, March 13th. My brothers are hired for the Raise the Bar podcast. We're here to discuss forgiveness. What forgiveness looks like for us as a community, how to do it in a healthy way, and overcome those tough challenges. So myself, Ricky Spencer, I'm really passionate about helping others and helping inspire others to do great for others. And just really being able to give back to the community as the community gives back to me and just being in a safe space at all times. So now I'd like the opportunity to let my brother share who he is.
Good morning. My name is Bryce Spencer, another third of the Raise the Bar podcast, here to touch upon another topic, which is, my brother said, forgiveness. Just want to go through the different topics in regards of what forgiveness like, what that process is like, how do we transition through it, how do we process it, and, just focus on the healing and, getting ourselves back on point and trusting in whatever and whomever, and just moving forward. I'll pass it on to my little brother, Royce.
Yeah, what's up, world? Royce Spencer here. Hope everyone is doing well. And like my brothers mentioned, we are going to be touching on forgiveness and just the process of moving on, healing, and trying to accomplish the goals that you have in mind by moving forward and not being caught in your past. So I've got a couple things I wanted to share, maybe some stories, and I'm just gonna let it flow. I got some notes, but I'm excited as always to be sitting down here with these two gentlemen, and hopefully we got something of value to share with you all. So let us know what your thoughts are. Go ahead, drop a comment, subscribe if you'd like, and we're gonna continue to bring you all some quality content. So throw it back over to you, Rick. Let's roll.
Mm-hmm. So I think we'll just start off with just having a conversation about what's morally right for me as an individual. And then more as we're going through our life, just kind of understanding as we come across and have the chance to interact with other people, are we having a real understanding of what their moral sense is? Like, are they the type of individual to do what's morally right for them, or is it what's morally right for the both of us? And just kind of understanding that. And then as we build these layers, because life is somewhat like making up your bed. You have your layers of it. You have your blanket, your sheet, your bedwear, and everything, the bedding for the bed. It's almost like as you're building life and building these relationships, how are we ensuring that we're developing powerful relationships and we're being who we need to be for this individual and allowing this individual to be for who we might need them to be throughout these situations? And just understanding that as we're building rapport with each other, are we putting them in a situation to where they could effectively be there for me? Or are we holding them accountable of who they need to be for me? Does that kind of make sense where I'm going with that?
A little bit. Go ahead, elaborate. So you're saying there's levels to the commitments that you have from your community, and you kind of have to have realistic expectations of what they're going to provide. Is that
exactly?
Okay.
Exactly. As we're building a relationship with each other, even as a brother or mother, am I really taking into an account, have you been down this path before? Do I have clear expectations of what I need you to be in order for this to be a success for the both of us?
Yeah.
Or are my intentions just focused on, I need you to do this for me, and this is what you need to do, and you, and being the other individual, not really knowing, how do I do this? I've never did it before. So now it's kind of that layer of confusion kind of settles in.
Yeah. I think a big challenge with what you just mentioned there, the clear expectations, is just communication skills. Nowadays we all text and we're all, 200 and whatever characters like on Twitter, but that's not the most efficient way of, sharing what your thoughts are and, coming to an understanding. I really think that we are being crippled a little bit, but I don't think it's just out the window. I still believe that we can come together and sit down and have tough conversations, disagree, come to some sort of middle ground, and move forward with the best option for the collective group.
Yeah, so as I listened to like how you were speaking earlier, trying to understand, I think for one, we need to find the meaning and of what is the process we're going on, and then also that allows us as individuals to understand what like you said, the expectations is. So as we so me, I wanted to touch more upon like the process and the healing of what we may have endured with forgiveness, for forgiveness. And like I said, just understanding the meaning of what you've encountered or endured will just also prepare you for the next. We're going to get let down. We're going to have be in situations where we're going to have to learn to forgive again. But once you start to pick up and recognize certain routines and patterns, it just helps prepare you for, the unexpected, unforeseen, experience. So you just have to, I think, finding that meaning, understanding it, and it just becomes more valuable. And it creates us to open ourselves up to forgive and how to prepare better for the next encounter and situation, whether that be business endeavor, relationships, all the above. You can just definitely apply the theory and the structure to it, but the circumstances are all going to vary and be different for sure.
One other thing I wanted to throw on there, I just had a conversation with a family member, just about catastrophizing. I think oftentimes when things don't go the way we want, we have a habit of just making it seem like it's the end of the world, or just, especially when we come from traumatic experiences, which we've all had our own form of. But when we have real just trying times that we've gone through and somehow we're able to triumph, it can make you feel that you're getting ready to go back to that traumatic time if something doesn't go the way you like it to. But instead, you have to really ask yourself, okay, it didn't quite go as I planned. Is this end all? Or can I still find a way to reach an end goal that, is meaningful?
Right.
I just wanted to throw that on there because, like you both mentioned, it's about the collective good. And
facts.
You're like, whoever comes to me with their idea in mind or something that they're trying to accomplish, it might not be in my best interest, but there might be some interest in there for me. There's still something that I can get out of that, even if it's just knowing that, hey, someone who I care about appreciates the effort that I put in. That in of itself is valuable to me.
Definitely.
I just want to throw that on top.
Yeah. So what I was also thinking, once we become, like you said, shattered, become broken, I think when the focus is on the forgiveness portion of it, that for one, that does is rebuild our self-esteem, that rebuilds our confidence, because at that point, we're not going to allow and enable ourselves to be so fragile on a situation that, doesn't play out for our favor. And that's why I say also in those circumstances, you find the meaning, you try to learn and pull something valuable from that experience, so it doesn't just stay a post-traumatic experience. You don't want to just sit and dwell upon that trauma. You want to rebuild that confidence, find it in yourself, your heart, your conscience to rebuild yourself. And then also, man, you got to definitely, I think within our community, what we don't do enough is acknowledge that there is something severely broken and shattered within our self-esteem and ourselves. And but like you said, we definitely have to look at accountability from our peers, our family, our loved ones to support that, identify that, like, hey, I noticed something is different about you. Your spirit don't seem aligned. We just got to be keen and pick up on those key, identifiers.
Be willing to accept that feedback.
Yeah,
but definitely. Also, those of you who are, like Bryce said, keen to that, be willing to give it as well. It might not always go as smooth as we would like.
Right.
The person on the receiving end might be like, you know what, you can blow off, but still, like, you coming from a genuine place, wishing them nothing but the best, you go to sleep at night knowing that, hey, I really hope that they can find a way to come out of that senile or pessimistic view, because nothing good comes from that. Like, even if you are right with a pessimistic perspective, it's still not good.
Right. The energy is off.
And the individual too, like you said, the one who is experiencing the trauma, that got to be an identifier for themselves too. If you're responding in a combative way and already fired up and ready to go, that's a clear, I think, sign that what I'm bringing to your attention is pretty much self-explanatory at this point.
Right.
So
like, this is why it's so hard for me to present
we can't
this.
even have I can't even present to you what I am noticing about you because you're already on defense. So for that part, that just speaks to, what is the obvious elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because, especially in the Black community, we've been through a lot over generations, and
definitely
I feel, are finally at this place where we can start to do some true healing from a I don't know, an intellectual standpoint, really start to articulate the problems that we're feeling, because there's so many wide hues of emotions. So it's important for us to really communicate that well, because some people might think they have anxiety when really it's something completely on the opposite end of a mental challenge, or it could be something a lot more simple than bipolar disorder, but some people just throw that around like it's a simple thing, like, I can tell you have bipolar disorder. Like, no, you can't. So I think we are informed more than ever, so that way now we can really do our due diligence, seek out the professionals who can provide you that sort of insight. And now, okay, let's fix these problems. Let's make sure we're not passing it down to the next generation, because our generation and the generation before us didn't deserve it. None of us deserved what we've gone through as a community, but it's time to just start fixing the problems. Can't keep dwelling.
Facts. Something that,
go ahead. Oh, no, I was just saying, then just thinking back through the forgiveness process, when we go throughout those moments and we have that one bad interaction, you kind of have to take into account, like, have both of us been in this situation before? And just asking those questions, like, in this particular instance, in this situation, why did you do it that way? And just having an understanding of why it happened that way. And then the next step is, would you be willing to do it again? Or because this particular situation went bad and didn't win for you, now you just want to completely not have anything to do with it? Are we going to channel that energy to find out why it went wrong? Are we going to add someone else to it to see how it really plays out if there's another party? There's really just dissecting the dynamics of what went wrong, why it went wrong, and how you can make change going forward and not revisit the same situation over again.
So a thought that came to mind. So like I was saying, like acknowledging and addressing any lingering issues. What I see a lot of people fall into this recircling trap is the outlet of social media use for your therapy. Man, that is like,
that's like one of my
biggest no judging and nothing, but when I see individuals crying and recording themselves, and then you have comments where you have a plethora of all walks of life and people from across all, the whole world that can leave a comment and you can get some good advice, you can get some bad advice. So
you got a mixed bag.
Right. So you just got a whole much of info and just, a lot of garbage too, that it's just going through your brain and you're cycling and you're using it. So I definitely do not recommend or think it is a good, decision to use social media as a outlet or a therapeutic outlet for if anything.
Preach, man. I just think it's too open of a forum.
Absolutely.
You have, like, even if you find a diamond, you're gonna have a lot of rough to dig through, a whole lot of rough to dig through,
and you're already fragile. So
but you very well might have a connection that can lead you in the right direction, but man, the odds are not in your favor by getting on social media and just spilling all your problems, because I forget what the quote is, but like they say, don't go on social media and open forums and sharing your problems, because half the people don't care and the other half are happy to hear you have those problems.
And you're just giving people who aren't not entitled an opinion of your situation and your circumstances and don't know the full scope or range of what is actually going on. They're getting a clip or a sound bite of what you're going through, and then they're going to just become specialists on your life and your situation. So why open yourself up to that type of scrutiny, that type of judgment? Protect your peace, protect yourself, especially when it's a fragile moment.
I feel like we already kind of touched on some better approaches, but what do you think is like the best route to take it for anyone who's thinking about going live and sharing how times have gotten crazy rough?
Before if I was in situation or circumstance where I felt like I wanted to take that route. Before I put myself on that grand of a scale, why not talk amongst your peers first? Have that scrutiny and that judgment on a lower scale, you know what I'm saying? And people who truly know you, I'm assuming love you, maybe have some understanding of what you may have been going through and are aware of, okay, this has been surfacing and whatnot, before you talk to a whole bunch of strangers and random people and, you know, just anybody's to provide any feedback on yourself. I would definitely go through stages. Like before you get to that point, go through, you know, your family members, your peers.
That's what I was gonna say. Just I've never had this problem, but I can imagine some people do. What if you don't respect your family's opinion? What if you feel like your family's turned their back on you? They've, you know, we got folks who've suffered from having their identity stolen from family members and all kind of tricks pulled on them, scammed by their own loved ones. What if you're in a situation where it's like, I don't feel like I can trust what my family has to say about my situation? What would you say to that person?
What you think?
I think at that point, to be blunt and honest, you're kind of getting in the way of yourself, because you're at a point where you're stuck on believing this is what it is. I don't want to hear feedback from anyone else. And this is like, at this point, you're a toxic person. Like,
but I get what you're saying. If they just like don't see anybody, but some people, there might be some folks out there who have a small unit of family members who like are really in their lives. They might not have parents really around like that. You know, we got some folks who've been raised by like grandma, that's it, or something like that. And it's like grandma doesn't really understand what's going on in 2022.
Right.
So where's your willingness to go out there and engage with other people, to find those that think like you and those that don't think like you? At some point, you have to grow outside of your area, your neighborhood. Like, this isn't the Brady Bunch anymore.
Right.
Like, where they're living right here, encapsulated in this one neighborhood. You have to have that willingness to want to go and have conversations with other people.
Facts.
And just dealing in communities outside of ours, like, because they lack those resources and opportunity to have those conversations, all that anger and frustration is just bottling up on the inside. And if you don't speak with someone, it's eventually going to eat away at you.
Right.
And
so you might need to get a little closer.
You're holding all that guilt in. So at some point you have to have those conversations, because if you talk to this person, you talk to that person, if you talk to enough people, you're going to talk to people that have had similar situations. And then understand how they have went through that experience.
I definitely think also too, what is a key factor is, depending on where you're at mentally with whatever, you have to really ask yourself, who do you trust? A lot of people shell up and won't trust anything or anybody. But if you do take someone's, advice as, trust their guidance, that's the main thing, is identifying who do you trust. If you don't trust anyone, you shelled up, say, all right, Rick, I'm looking for you for this advice. Then I'm opening myself up to allow you to direct me and lead me to the proper and the right direction that I trust in. Like, I trust your judgment. I trust your lead and direction. So that's when, like you said, to circle back to the original, like when you're dealing with something, you probably cut off from family, not talking to them, probably don't have too many friends, and you just shelled up and protecting and wrapped up. You have to trust one person, one thing or something. And if you don't trust any of that, trust in the professional route. If someone's a clinical psychologist or whatever profession, that's when you got to utilize your resource. You're gonna trust in Yelp to pick the restaurant you like, right, and the food. So
100%
trust the same, use them same skills and find what you need.
Yeah, I think, again, there's levels to the struggle that you're facing. And if you are to the point where you're breaking down and crying about maybe a traumatic experience, professionals for sure. Someone who is licensed in psychiatric help, because mental health is a very, very serious situation right now. But if, for example, it was just something on like the business scale, because business can be so challenging to the point where you're breaking down, crying, trying to figure out how to keep your career afloat, or you have some sort of entrepreneurial idea and you have no idea how you're going to make a sale, though. It's important to put yourself in the position to meet people who can provide you the feedback you're going to need to take that business or your career to the next level. And I think we talked about this like on the first or second episode, really just like playing the, like, I don't know, not really faking it till you making it, but like play the role play game, like get dressed up or just go to the areas where you would assume these sort of professionals would be and get to networking, man. Like the doors are opening back up right now. We are coming out of a literal pandemic quarantine. And, you know, I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was a year and a half ago. So now is the time that everyone is looking to try and make more connections. So I would just highly advise that start with just certain social media platforms like Clubhouse. I've been just dropping in, listening to people speak. Twitter, I think, is for speakers and talkers more than Instagram. Instagram, there are some people who can jump on and have conversations, but it's typically like more of the photos and videos of what's going on in people's lives. But all in all I'm saying is get out here and meet new people. Like if you don't feel like you have the connections and people around, like, or you feel like you've been let down by the ones who you've tried with in the past, it's all good. Forgive them. Don't forget what happened. Move on. Find someone else who's going to be able to help push you and your idea forward.
Yeah, life is a gamble, man. It's a roll of the dice, but the dice you don't roll, man, making these new relationships and these new networks, your information and your success and just overall everything can never continue to grow if you're not at least putting any effort towards creating new journeys in life, new trust, new relationships. Like you're only going to keep the same relationships. You're going to, like you said, you're going to stay, like Rick said, you're going to stay in the same circle. If you're not willing to take it upon yourself to create new relationships, interact, exchange, whatever, all of the above, man. And then you'll learn there's other trustworthy people, there's other trustworthy endeavors, all the above out there past what you know and what you're, keeping yourself huddled up in.
Yep.
It's all truth. And just to piggyback a little bit to what we said about the person that doesn't really have any family and doesn't really have anyone to go to, the level of toxicness that is that now that you're repeating the cycle that you've been taught.
Yep.
And so we have to be mindful of, this is all that I know, but shouldn't I know more? And that's where you have to challenge yourself to start expanding your horizons. I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. Like that's literally the facts of life. Is that you have to be able to take that challenge, just go be curious. As kids, we were curious and we were like seeing what our resources are. What can we do with this? Like Royce, with you and Cassie's playing with the bottle caps tonight. You have to tap into your creative spirit.
Yep.
Like what is it? Like what else can I use this for? I was looking at a musician and Rick Rock Beats, and it was a sound from a garage door, and he was able to take that sound and put it into a beat. It's like with all these sounds, numbers, and everything, there's a lot of resources around us. But like, let's tap into those resources and see what else we can create with them. And that's kind of what life is. Just
enlighten thyself.
Yes, enlighten thyself. See what's around you and see what you're able to use it for. Most importantly, ask questions. Like if something didn't go my way, let me be nosy enough to go over and find out why it didn't go my way. So then that way, at least I know if I do it this way, I can get a win. I'm not gonna cry over this loss. I'm gonna take this loss for future wins.
Right. Key word you said was definitely challenge yourself. If you're not challenging yourself, you're remaining stagnant. There's no growth. You're not learning anything or adapting. So the challenge has to be challenge yourself.
100%. I got a question for you guys. Tell me about a time when someone did you dirty, let you down, and that someone happened to be your brother, so you had to forgive them. I got a good story. We were right in the backyard. I got the mark right here for the rest of my life. You were playing fetch with a bully, threw the stick right over my head. I just so happened to stand up, caught me right on the eye. But I knew it was an accident because obviously you're playing with the dog. But now y'all didn't. Oh yeah, y'all actually did have a moment.
Oh, I got a story.
I'm not gonna bring up the other one. But what's yours, Bryce?
Never forget Daly City. me, Rick, and one of Rick's friends running around. We running the streets, and we called this place the Haunted House. I don't know what it was. It was a building with an elevator. Man, I trusted Rick, man, and followed him. We ran all the way to the roof, and then someone chased us down. See, janitor or something. I don't know. That's all I know is somehow I ended up in the elevator stuck by myself. And yeah,
I don't know what it is about being stuck in the elevator. It's like, oh, this thing
it's
about to go all the
TV,
way down the
man.
hill, man.
it felt like it felt like
TV.
it felt like days, but I probably was in there for maybe 10 minutes or something. They got me out.
That's a long time for an elevator
to
man.
not know what's going on.
Yeah,
that
for
was
a young kid
That
too.
was the good days. The minute we saw somebody, it's just running like it's a haunted
we just
house.
took off. I don't know.
Hey, but even to think of that, like you take that moment and put it in today's time, like they think we just did like we were just literally kids having fun, just
Mhm.
running around in the house, calling it the haunted house, living in our imagination.
Creativity,
Yeah,
but
but-
it's finest.
Yeah, but think about like what if the police like in today's day doing that?
Yeah.
You're right. They think
I
of
don't really
armed
want to call it
robbery.
negative,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just like we were just literally just
Robbery and
kids having
process.
fun, just using our imaginations. Like you're a perfect stranger, we don't know who you are, but we're gonna run from
we
you.
can show you can't catch us.
Yep.
That's crazy though. Yeah,
That's
yeah. I trust you.
What you
Rick,
got,
to come
Rick?
back and give me out.
What's some times that one of
A
us let you
time.
down, or both of us let you down, and you had to forgive us because
uh,
we lived together. We brothers.
I honestly, this is gonna sound kind of.
I mean, we both were rocking your shoes to school, so wasn't never a time where you found some creases and some.
I guess
Some
I
patent
can go
leather
with
Jordans
one.
or something?
I guess I can go with one. Just so I can
Remember the
say.
warehouse too. I
Um,
took that tape and you
I
didn't
think
know.
it might have to be Royce. I think.
Oh yeah, what you said it was me?
Yeah, I think it'd be.
What did I do?
I guess the way we'll frame it, if it being let down, it'd be a little unique. But I guess more so just finding out about you stealing my motorcycle to go down to
I
school.
knew it was that one.
I think
I
it'd
knew
have to be just because I was a motorcycle rider and knowing how dangerous that was.
Yep.
And then the fact that I showed you how to ride it. And
All right, yeah. You gave me too much.
I gave too much information.
Like, oh, that's how it's
It
done.
was just like
Every morning I
that-
thought it was you. It was Royce.
I was literally driving that thing all the way to school in the first year because you only taught me how to get it out of neutral in the first year. That's all I need. I was high gearing all the way down the
Like,
hill.
he sure is riding that bike
Or
weird
low
this
gear, and
morning.
I was revving, sounding like 1,000 RPMs the whole way.
Every time I heard it, it was always like I only caught a clip of him leaving. I never knew whose body it was.
Yeah,
Good moments, good memories. Man.
good times. Yeah, that was funny. But I don't know. I don't have anything else. I mean,
Yeah, I think
just wanted to throw these out there.
Yeah,
We can come up with something for the next week that we can chat about it later on.
Yeah, just definitely just circle back to the topic. Forgiveness is definitely I think very important for just all walks of life. Definitely push it for our community. There's a lot of situations and unfortunate situations I think that can be overcome with simply forgiving, conversation, putting everything on the table, holding each other accountable, and now creating a new recipe and formula to where there's mutual respect, there's an understanding on how we can empower each other and just reciprocate that, and also there's nothing wrong with forgiving and walking on, wishing someone the best. That's the biggest thing. I definitely don't admire
or read my mind.
Yeah, don't hold any grudge or any hatred or any resentment, because that's a weight that is not going to allow you to continue to grow.
Unhealthy weight for you, and I mean, if the person cares about what you think about them, like it's a unhealthy burden for both parties. Again, if the person even cares that you got a problem with them, but if you are sitting back having any sort of animosity, any sort of ill will and ill wishes towards somebody, that's like you drinking the poison and expecting them to get sick. At the end of the day, like you have to really just forgive. Like that's why you always see when people are in court and they literally lost a loved one to the hands of the person who's being tried, and they still find it upon themselves to forgive that person, even though their guilty is charged. It's because they don't want to live the rest of their life with that pain and that anger, that hatred, because it's unhealthy, man. Like that's where disease thrives. And nobody deserves to live a life like that, especially if you've already been hurt. Just let the pain go.
In some situations, I understand it will take longer.
Oh, yeah,
will
it's not
take
easy.
A lot more resources and soul searching, but the longer you dwell and stay hung up on that resentment, you're just stealing from your own progress, your own production, your own growth. So I mean,
that energy can go towards all of that.
Facts. So the faster you identify that and get to chipping away and at resolving and healing and forgiving, just the better for the individual, for sure.
Yep. 100%.
So
Nah, I'm glad you brought that up. I almost forgot about that. That's major. Like,
right.
Let it go, man.
Definitely.
My daughter loves Frozen. Let it go.
Definitely let it go.
No reason to hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got something else, Rick? You got a quote over there, man.
I got
Drop
a quote
it.
that's lined up. In honor of the great late Mahatma Gandhi, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. I think it's all a matter of the way, not dwelling on that loss, but being the victor of that win.
Right.
Just honing that and taking it by the saddle and the reins and just riding, man.
Say that one more time.
The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong.
I'm telling you, that confidence rebuilds that confidence to forgive, man.
That's deep.
Yeah.
A little trick. I'm gonna throw this in there before we end. I'm trying to work on little tricks to remember things better and helping Cassidy on her homework. And the best way is to use your imagination and see the quote or whoever's saying it. If you don't remember who's saying it, just imagine it in the most hyperbolic, like extra situation possible. So when you said like the weak don't forgive, the strong, it's like something of the strong. Mahatma Gandhi, I'm just imagining Mahatma Gandhi, he was kind of frail. Imagine him like a bodybuilder, just still looking the same in his face, talking about how like the strong forgive. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Like imprinting in the brain. Yep.
Yes, sir.
It's always good talking with you, gentlemen.
Always
collaborating and continue to push this these conversations and raise this bar, raise everything, man. I love y'all. Good talk.
Love y'all too, man. Love y'all as well. Subscribe, comment, let us know what y'all think. And we're gonna keep bringing y'all quality conversations, man. This is Black love. This is Black joy.
Amen.
Appreciate y'all.
All right.